Imagine being trapped, stuck between an unstoppable army and a raging sea. No way forward, no way back. What would you do? This is exactly where the Israelites found themselves. But what happened next? It was one of the greatest miracles in history. Let's go back to where it all began. For hundreds of years, the Israelites had been slaves in Egypt, forced to work under cruel conditions. But God had a plan. He sent Moses, a man chosen to lead his people to freedom. Moses warned Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, to let the Israelites go. But Pharaoh refused, so God sent 10 devastating plagues, turning water to blood, sending swarms of locusts, and even covering the land in total darkness. But the final plague was the worst. After Pharaoh's son died in the last plague, he finally gave in. "Go," he told Moses, "take your people and leave." So the Israelites packed their things and began their journey to freedom. They were finally free, or so they thought. But Pharaoh had second thoughts. He realized he had just let go of his entire workforce. With anger and regret, he ordered his entire army, horses, chariots, and warriors, to chase after the Israelites. The Israelites, walking peacefully toward the Red Sea, suddenly heard something terrifying in the distance. The pounding of hooves, the rumbling of chariots, the sound of war. They turned around. Pharaoh's army was coming fast. Panic set in. "Why did you bring us here to die, Moses?" they cried. "It would have been better to stay in Egypt than to be killed here." But Moses wasn't afraid. He knew God had a plan. Then something incredible happened. Moses stood before the sea, stretched out his staff, and called on God. Suddenly, a powerful wind blew through the waters. The sea split in two. A massive pathway opened up, with towering walls of water on both sides. The Israelites couldn't believe their eyes. Was this even real? But there was no time to waste. They had to move. Thousands of men, women, and children began crossing the dry seabed. Step by step, they walked through the middle of the sea, a miracle unfolding before them. But Pharaoh's army wasn't done yet. Determined to capture the Israelites, they charged straight into the path God had created. Their horses galloped, their chariots rolled forward. They thought they had the Israelites trapped again, but then something changed. Their chariots got stuck, the ground shifted, the soldiers panicked. Something wasn't right. And then God told Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea." Moses obeyed. Suddenly, the walls of water came crashing down. The sea rushed back into place, swallowing the Egyptian army in an instant. Not one soldier survived. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Israelites stood in shock. They were free, truly free. They had escaped Pharaoh forever. And in that moment, they knew it was God who had saved them. The Israelites erupted in joy and praise. They sang, danced, and thanked God for delivering them. They had faced fear, doubt, and an impossible situation. But God made a way. And that's the lesson for all of us today. When you feel trapped, when there seems to be no way forward, trust God. Because even when things seem impossible, He can part the sea for you. If this story inspired you, remember, God is still the same today as He was then. He can make a way in your life too. Have faith, keep moving forward, and trust that God is leading the way.